Space was silent, wide, and endless. But on one normal night, far above Earth, something unusual began to move inside that silence. Strange lights flickered deep in the void, like distant storms waking up after a long sleep. Hidden signals rippled across the darkness, carrying a message no human had ever heard before. At the North Sky Observatory, a lonely radar operator named Ellis leaned back in his chair, trying to stay awake. It was supposed to be a quiet shift. It was supposed to be normal. But then his screen flashed bright red. A warning alarm echoed across the empty control room. Ellis sat up straight. "What now, another glitch?" he whispered. But it wasn't a glitch. The screen showed something impossible, millions of unknown signals entering the solar system at once. They moved in perfect formation, in straight lines, like soldiers marching through the dark. Ellis froze. "Is this real?" His hands shook as he opened the global channel. "Command, this is Observatory North. You need to see this. Immediately." Across the world, other stations reported the same thing. Antarctica. Japan. Europe. South America. Every radar across Earth picked up the same pattern, an approaching storm of signals, cold and organized. Within minutes, governments woke up. Satellites turned. Telescopes aligned. World leaders rushed into emergency rooms they hoped would never be used. Then the message came. A deep metallic voice filled every communication system around the planet. Every radio. Every ship. Every screen. It spoke only one sentence, but that sentence hit the world like a hammer. Earth will kneel, or burn. And then silence. Not even static. Just an empty, chilling quiet. People across the planet stared at their screens. Some screamed. Some prayed. Some thought it was a hack. But every expert knew it wasn't. The message came from far beyond known space, from an empire powerful enough to broadcast across an entire solar system. In space, something moved. The Hubble Deep Eye telescope captured a blurry image. At first, scientists thought it was an asteroid. But then the object rotated, and revealed metal. Structure. Design. A ship. A ship larger than any mountain on Earth. Its shadow stretched across the stars like a dark wing. Inside the United Earth Command bunker, General Mara Voss stared at the projection. "That thing is scanning us," she said quietly. Her voice trembled. She was not a woman who trembled often. A science officer swallowed hard. "Ma'am, that ship is only one of many. Our instruments detect hundreds more behind it." "Hundreds?" "Yes, General. And all that just to force Earth to kneel." The officer didn't answer. Civilians were not told the truth. All around the world, news channels repeated the same lie. A satellite malfunction has caused strange signals and power disruptions. Everything is under control. But nothing was under control. The Galactic Union, an alliance of dozens of alien empires, had marked Earth as a threat. A small, primitive world that refused to join them. A planet that grew too fast, too boldly, too independently. To them, Earth was nothing but a spark that needed to be crushed before it became a flame. Inside command, fear twisted through the air. "What do they want?" an ambassador whispered. General Voss replied, "Control. Obedience. They want Earth on its knees. And if we don't bow?" The general looked at the giant alien ship looming on the screen. "Then we burn." Suddenly, alarms rang again. A new scan. Stronger than before. The alien ship hovered silently beyond the moon, like a giant eye watching Earth. No movement. No communication. Just observation. Then, for a moment, only a second, Earth's power grid dropped. Lights flickered across continents. Hospitals, airports, cities, everything dimmed. The alien ship was testing something. Testing Earth's weakness. Testing Earth's fear. Citizens looked up at the night sky without knowing what hid behind the darkness. They saw a peaceful moon. They saw stars. They didn't see the Empire waiting above them. But the military saw everything. And what they saw terrified them. Another transmission arrived, this time a countdown. 14 days. Earth had 14 days to kneel or be destroyed. Command fell into chaos. What do we do? How do we fight something that big? We don't even know what weapons they use. But one voice cut through the panic. General Voss stood tall, eyes burning with the same stubborn fire that shaped human history for thousands of years. We do what humans always do, she said. We stand. We resist. We fight. And deep beneath the oceans, inside secret hangars no one outside the military even knew existed, something old and dangerous began to wake. Engines hummed in the darkness. Lights flickered on. Shadows moved. The Black Armada, Earth's hidden fleet, activated for the first time. It launched silently into the night sky, unseen by the world. They were Earth's answer. Earth's last hope. Earth's warning to the galaxy. Because humanity did not kneel. Humanity never had. And never would. Above them, the alien ship opened its massive wings of metal and energy, preparing for something unknown. Something terrible. The countdown continued. The galaxy watched. And Earth held its breath. The countdown had begun. 14 days until Earth's surrender. 14 days until destruction. But while fear spread across the world like cold smoke, another kind of fire burned inside the United Earth Command. A fire the aliens never expected. In a deep underground chamber, world leaders gathered around a glowing round table. The air was thick with tension, no one spoke louder than a whisper. Everyone knew the truth now, the Galactic Union was here, above the moon, watching every human move. President Han broke the silence. We cannot bow. Humanity has never bowed. General Mara Voss stepped forward, her uniform scorched from sleepless nights and endless stress. Earth is not defenseless, she said. Her words hit the room like a shockwave. A young diplomat stared at her. But their ships are massive. Their technology is older than our entire species. How do we stand against that? General Voss didn't blink. With the thing we swore never to use. The room fell silent. Everyone knew what she meant. The Black Armada. Earth's shadow fleet. Ships built in secret, hidden from the public, hidden even from most governments. Warships created during a time when humanity feared the unknown. For years they had slept beneath oceans and mountains, silent, forgotten. Until now. A wall panel slid open, revealing live footage, a dozen enormous black warships rising from underwater hangars, shedding thousands of gallons of seawater as they ascended. Their hulls absorbed light instead of reflecting it, turning them into moving shadows. The ambassador stared in disbelief. You kept these hidden. These ships were never meant for war, Voss said quietly. But the galaxy has forced our hand. Above Earth, the alien ship rotated slowly, scanning again. Beams of icy blue light swept across continents like the gaze of a giant beast. They didn't attack, not yet. They were waiting for Earth to kneel. Waiting for fear to break humanity. But fear wasn't breaking humanity. Something else was happening instead. Across the globe, resistance began to grow. People lit candles in windows. Cities painted symbols of unity on buildings. Children wrote messages to the stars saying, "We will not kneel." Humans were afraid, yes, but fear only fed their defiance. In the Pacific Ocean, Black Armada's flagship, Eclipse, broke the surface with a roar. Water exploded into the air as its engines activated. Captain Ryland stepped onto the command bridge, his jaw tight with determination. He turned to his officers. The galaxy thinks Earth is weak. They think we will bow. He looked at the screens showing the alien fleet hidden behind the moon. They should have studied human history. We don't bow. We bite. His crew nodded, not out of duty, but out of something far stronger, belief. Inside the Eclipse, energy shields shimmered to life. Missiles locked into place. Lasers hummed with a low vibration, like a lion preparing to roar. But even with the Black Armada active, Earth was not ready for a full war. Not yet. So they needed time. They needed information. They needed to understand the enemy. A stealth drone, barely the size of a motorcycle, launched from the Eclipse and shot silently into space. Its job was simple: get close to the alien ships and scan them. But nothing about this mission was simple. The drone flew fast, slipping through shadows, invisible to most sensors. As it reached the dark side of the moon, it finally saw the truth. The alien fleet was not hundreds. It was thousands. Rows upon rows of vessels stretched across space like a metal storm. Some were shaped like giant blades. Others like floating cities. And in the center of them all was a colossal structure, something the drone's camera could barely capture. A command fortress. Bigger than any Earth city. Powered by a core glowing with burning white energy. The drone transmitted the data back to Earth. And then, the alien fortress turned. Its lights focused on the tiny drone. It had been seen. Before the drone could escape, a beam of red energy struck it, vaporizing it instantly. On Earth, the last image froze on the screen. A close-up of the alien fortress. Its symbols. Its size. Its power. The ambassadors stared, pale and silent. "We cannot win," one whispered. "They will crush us." General Voss slammed her fist onto the table. "No," she said. "They think humans break easily. They don't understand what we become when someone threatens our home." She pointed at the alien fortress on the screen. "That is why we fight." That night, the Black Armada ascended into orbit, sliding into darkness like silent predators. Their mission wasn't to attack yet. Their mission was to prepare, to learn, to stand ready. Earth didn't know it, but a war for survival had already begun. And the galaxy was watching closely, waiting to see if humanity would kneel. Or if humanity would rise. The Black Armada moved through space like shadows slipping across water. No lights. No sound. No heat signature. Only purpose. Every ship hid behind pieces of drifting rock, using the debris as camouflage while they waited for their moment. From the command bridge of the Eclipse, Captain Ryland studied the alien fleet hiding behind the dark side of the moon. Thousands of ships, each one larger and more advanced than anything humans had ever built. Their glowing cores pulsed like the heartbeat of a giant beast. Ryland's voice was calm, but every officer could feel the tension deep in his tone. "They think we will beg," he said quietly. "Let's show them how wrong they are." His second-in-command, Commander Lyra, leaned forward. "Our stealth systems won't last long. Their scanners keep sweeping wider." "Then we strike before they find us," Ryland replied. Down on Earth, civilians slept peacefully, unaware that humanity's first real space battle was seconds away. Cities glowed softly under the night sky, while far above them, a storm prepared to break. Inside the alien command fortress, the supreme strategist of the Galactic Union observed holographic projections of Earth. He saw oceans, forests, and tiny clusters of cities. "A primitive world," he muttered. "Yet strangely defiant," another commander added. The supreme strategist's eyes narrowed. "All species kneel. Humans will kneel too." But the galaxy hadn't met the Black Armada yet. Back on the Eclipse, the operations officer whispered. "Sir, they are powering their scanners. If they find us." "They won't," Ryland cut in. His eyes focused on the giant alien command fortress. And then he gave the order. Arm the Eclipse cannons. Prepare the first strike. The ship vibrated as massive hidden cannons slid out of the hull, glowing with deep blue energy. These weapons were Earth's most dangerous secret, built with technology humanity didn't fully understand, discovered in a long-forgotten crater decades ago. Commander Lyra hesitated. If we fire, we start a war we cannot undo. Rylan looked at her. The war already started when they threatened our home. The countdown on Earth reached day 12. Only 12 days left. On board the alien command fortress, alarms flashed. Energy spike detected, an alien officer said. The strategist frowned. From Earth? No, sir, from the shadows near the moon. His eyes widened. At that exact moment, the Eclipse fired. A beam of blue energy burst forward silently. It didn't roar, it didn't hiss, it didn't scream. It simply cut. Pure light slicing through the void like a perfect blade. The beam hit an alien capital ship. And the ship didn't explode. It disintegrated. Metal turned to dust. Energy cores collapsed. The entire vessel broke apart like it had never existed. One moment a massive warship, the next moment drifting glowing particles. Inside the alien fortress, panic erupted. What was that? Unknown human weapon. Impossible. They are a young species. Sir, we are under attack. The strategist's eyes burned with rage. Find them. Destroy them. Make Earth scream. But the Black Armada had already moved. The Eclipse vanished behind a large asteroid. The Shadow Lance struck next, launching a silent missile that didn't detonate but imploded, crushing another alien ship like paper. Human ships zigzagged through the darkness, using guerrilla tactics. Hit. Vanish. Hit again. Vanish again. The aliens were powerful, but clumsy. They had never fought an enemy that struck like ghosts. Inside the fortress, alarms screamed. Multiple losses. Human ships are unseen. Where are they attacking from? Everywhere. For the first time, the Galactic Union felt something they had not felt in centuries. Fear. Back on Earth, General Voss watched the battle feed transmitted secretly from the Eclipse. Her heart pounded as she saw alien ships fall apart one by one. This is impossible, a scientist whispered. We're winning, another asked. But General Voss didn't smile. Her gut twisted. This is only the beginning. They will hit back harder. She was right. Out in space, the alien fortress suddenly released a pulse, an exploding wave of red energy. It spread across the battlefield faster than any human ship could react. The stealth cloak around the Black Armada flickered, then died. On the Eclipse, alarms blared. Stealth is down. They can see us. They're locking weapons. Captain Rylan clenched his fists. So the real fight begins. Dozens of alien ships turned, aiming their massive cannons. Red lights glowed across the battlefield like angry eyes opening. Commander Lyra yelled. Captain, they're charging their primary beams. One hit and we're gone. Rylan stared at the impossible enemy. Thousands of ships. Millions of weapons. A fortress big enough to hide a moon. But he didn't flinch. Humanity does not kneel, he whispered. Fire everything. And the Eclipse unleashed hell. Missiles, lasers, shock rounds, every weapon shot forward in a furious blaze. Human ships darted between red beams, dodging by inches. Explosions lit up the void like underwater fireworks. But the alien retaliation was brutal. One human cruiser took a direct hit and broke apart instantly. Another lost its engines and drifted helplessly. A third ship spiraled downward, burning like a falling star. Commander Lyra's voice cracked. We can't hold, Captain. They're too many. But Ryland's eyes remained locked on the alien fortress. If we fall now, Earth falls with us. He raised his hand. Prepare the Starpiercer. Every officer turned pale. Sir, that weapon is unstable, Lyra warned. It wasn't meant to be used yet, another officer added. It could destroy us too. Ryland stared at the glowing alien fortress in the distance. That monster out there is planning to destroy Earth. If we don't stop it now, humanity dies. Activate the Starpiercer. The crew obeyed. Deep inside the Eclipse, a forbidden weapon woke up. Energy pulsed through the ship, shaking every wall like a living heartbeat. In the distance, the alien fortress began to charge its planet-killer beam. Earth's destruction was seconds away. Both sides prepared to fire. The universe held its breath. And then, the Eclipse fired the Starpiercer. The screen turned white. The Starpiercer blast tore across the darkness like a newborn star exploding. For a moment, everything turned white. The Eclipse shook violently, metal screaming as if the ship itself felt pain. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Officers were thrown from their seats. Warning alarms echoed through the bridge. Commander Lyra grabbed onto a railing, shouting. Stabilize the core. Someone, shut down the surge. But the Starpiercer didn't shut down. It roared. A deep, ancient sound vibrated through the ship, a sound no human technology had ever made before. The weapon was not made by humans. It was discovered, buried in the ruins of an unknown crash site decades ago. The scientists who examined it warned. This thing is not built. It is alive. And now it was awake. Outside, the alien fortress glowed red with charging energy. The Starpiercer beam struck it directly in the heart. The fortress trembled, its shields bending and rippling like water struck by a stone. For the first time, cracks appeared in the Union's invincible armor. On the alien command bridge, chaos erupted. Shield integrity dropping. Unknown energy penetrating. Our core is destabilizing. The Supreme Strategist stared in disbelief. No, no human weapon should do this. It should be impossible. But this was not a human weapon. This was something far older. Far more dangerous. And the galaxy had no idea humanity possessed it. Back on the Eclipse, the energy surge continued to climb. The lights flickered. Floor panels glowed red-hot under the crew's feet. An engineer screamed. Captain! The Starpiercer is drawing power from everything. If we don't shut it down, it will. He never finished. A shockwave blasted across the bridge, throwing him to the floor. Captain Ryland steadied himself. Keep firing, he said through grit teeth. We stop firing, the fortress fires on Earth. Humanity dies. Lyra grabbed his arm. Ryland, listen to me. The weapon is overloading. We'll lose the ship. But Ryland's eyes stayed locked on the giant alien fortress outside the view screen. If Earth falls, what does the ship matter? Lyra's voice cracked. We matter. The crew matters. We knew what we risked when we launched, Ryland replied. We are Earth's shield. This is our duty. Another violent shake tore through the bridge. The Starpiercer beam wavered, then grew even brighter, blindingly bright. Down in the engineering bay, panels exploded. Crew members scrambled as burning cables snapped like whips. The ship's AI flickered, repeating. Critical core failure, seek reactor shields. But there was no time. In space, the alien fortress attempted to retaliate. A massive red beam began to form at its center, Earth's death sentence. General Voss watched through the command center back on Earth. She felt her chest tighten. They're going to fire, they're going to destroy us. But then she saw it. The starpiercer beam didn't just hit the fortress, it infected it. Blue cracks spread across the alien structure like lightning crawling over metal skin. The fortress shook violently. Its glowing red core flickered, then dimmed. Alien officers screamed. Our core is collapsing. Unknown energy contaminating systems. Evacuate. Evacuate. The supreme strategist slammed his fist on the console. Shut it down. Shut everything down. But it was too late. The fortress was dying. On the Eclipse, Lyra's voice shook. Captain, it's working. It's actually working. Rylan nodded. But it's killing us too. The floor ruptured. Flames burst from a broken pipe. The starpiercer groaned like a beast consuming itself. The tactical officer yelled. The weapon is draining our entire power grid. Shields failing. Hull failures. Everything was falling apart. And then the starpiercer suddenly stopped. Silence. A heavy, unnatural silence. Every light on the Eclipse went out for a second. Then emergency red lights flickered on. Lyra looked around the bridge, trembling. It stopped. What happened? Rylan stared at the screen. The alien fortress was dead. Silent. Broken. Floating like a shattered moon. The crew gasped. We actually did it, someone whispered. We destroyed it. But Rylan didn't celebrate. Because something was wrong. In the darkness of space, behind the broken fortress, a new light flickered. A different color. A deeper color. Purple. A swirling vortex of energy appeared, small at first, then expanding like a flower blooming in reverse. Lyra stepped closer. What is that? It's not a ship, the operations officer said. It's something else. The crew watched in horror as the purple vortex grew, and grew, and grew, until it dwarfed every ship in the battlefield. Then a sound echoed, not through the ship, but through their minds. A whisper. Not alien. Not human. Something ancient. Return what you used. Lyra's blood went cold. Captain, did you hear that? Rylan's face turned pale. The starpiercer core began glowing again on its own. No one touched the controls. No one activated anything. Yet the weapon was powering up. Rylan whispered. Lyra. I don't think we found the starpiercer in a crater. She stared at him. What are you saying? I'm saying, someone left it there. Someone powerful. Someone who wants it back. The purple vortex widened, expanding like a giant eye opening in the void. Earth's leaders watched in terror. The alien fleet watched in confusion. And humanity realized something far worse than the Union existed. Something that wanted its weapon back. Something ancient enough to shake galaxies. The vortex whispered again, louder. Return it, or be taken. The Eclipse shook violently. The crew stumbled. Lyra yelled, Captain, what do we do? Rylan didn't answer. Because he didn't know. Not this time. The purple vortex expanded like a living storm, swirling with colors no human eye had ever seen. It wasn't a portal. It wasn't a weapon. It felt like a presence. A mind stretching across the universe. On the Eclipse, everyone froze. No one spoke. No one breathed. Even the alarms seemed afraid to ring. The whisper returned, louder, sharper, crawling under their skin. Return the starpiercer, or be taken. Commander Lyra trembled. It's talking to us, inside our heads. Rylan stared at the glowing vortex, heart pounding. This thing, it's not part of the Galactic Union. Then who is it? An officer asked. Rylan's voice dropped to a whisper. Someone the Union fears. Because out in space, every alien ship, every Union vessel, shut down their weapons. Not in strategy. Not as a trick. They shut down in fear. The supreme strategist himself stared at the vortex from the broken fortress. His armor shook. His eyes widened. Impossible, not them. Not after all these cycles. He whispered two words no human understood. The Starborn. The name echoed like a curse. Back on Earth, General Voss watched the feed with shaking hands. What are we dealing with now? A scientist replied in horror. The Starpiercer must be their technology. What we thought was a crashed relic, was probably a seed. A shard. A piece of them. And now they came to collect it, Voss said quietly. The vortex pulsed. Purple lightning streaked across space. Stars flickered. Return it. The Starpiercer core inside the eclipse began levitating. Wires snapped. Bolts tore loose. The weapon hummed like a creature answering its master's call. A thin beam of purple energy extended from the vortex straight toward the eclipse. Lyra screamed. Captain. It's pulling the weapon out of the ship. If they take it, an officer shouted, the ship will collapse. We'll all die. Captain Ryland stepped forward. For Earth, we hold the weapon. The purple beam grew stronger. Panels shattered. The ship groaned, metal twisting inward. Crew members gripped anything they could as gravity flickered. The Starpiercer pulsed harder, growing brighter, from blue to white, then to purple. Lyra grabbed Ryland's arm. We can't win this. This isn't a fight, it's a warning from something older than the galaxy. Ryland's voice was soft but unshakable. Maybe humanity wasn't meant to find this weapon. But we did. Maybe they want us to kneel too. Lyra's eyes filled. Ryland, humanity doesn't kneel. Ryland smiled faintly. No. We don't. He turned to the crew. We're not giving them the Starpiercer. We fire it. At full power. The crew gasped. That will kill us. It might destroy the vortex, or everything. The ship won't survive. Ryland stood tall, shoulders squared. Earth will survive. That's all that matters. Lyra stared at him. If we do this, it's suicide. Ryland took a breath. Not suicide. A stand. The Starpiercer glowed hotter, now alive, now furious. The purple beam tightened its pull. The ship cracked. A massive slab of the ceiling fell. Sparks rained like fiery snow. Ryland shouted. All power to Starpiercer. The bridge went dark. Every light. Every system. Every shield. All power rushed into the weapon. And then. The Starpiercer roared. A blast of pure energy shot out, brighter than everything the human eye had ever seen. It pierced the purple beam, pushing it back inch by inch. The vortex shook violently, screaming with 1,000 voices. The strategist watched in terror. They are defying the Starborn. How? How? The vortex collapsed inward, writhing, cracking, breaking. The pull faded. The voice weakened. Then. A final explosion of white light ripped through space. For a moment, the universe turned silent. When the light faded. The vortex was gone. The Starborn vanished. The alien fortress floated dead. Union ships drifted in absolute shock. And the eclipse was breaking apart. Lyra crawled toward Ryland through smoke and flames. Ryland. Captain. We did it, we defeated it. His uniform was torn. Blood trickled from his forehead. He gave a small smile. Humanity does not kneel. The ship cracked open. Air rushed out. Systems failed. Lyra screamed. Rylan, eject. We can still. But Rylan shook his head. No. You go. Earth needs leaders like you. He pressed a command on the console with trembling fingers. A pod sealed around Lyra and launched. She pounded the glass, screaming his name. The eclipse exploded behind her in a silent burst of light. From Earth, the night sky flashed. A single bright star appeared, then faded. General Voss whispered. Rylan, you saved us all. The alien fleet, shocked, broken, leaderless, slowly turned away. Not as conquerors. Not as victors. As witnesses. They left silently, terrified of a species that would defy empires, defy gods. At sunrise, Earth woke to peace. Citizens stepped outside, unaware that in the sky above them, heroes had died so they could live. Lyra's pod landed in the ocean. She emerged, staring at the morning sun. Tears ran down her face. One whisper left her lips. Humanity doesn't kneel. And across the stars. That message echoed louder than any weapon. Humanity had shaken the galaxy. And the galaxy would never forget.